Joanne Jobin, thank you very much for joining us again. We're sort of catching up following a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, answering a question I had, which was, why hasn't North America got its own Tier 1 conference? But you've only gone and done it, and you've finally revealed the when, the why, and the how. Tell us all about it.
Thank you for having me, Matt. Listen, we've been absolutely overwhelmed by the response of our sponsors and the mining community. I can also tell you that we just signed on the Caisse de dépôt, and the Quebec government, including SOCAM and Investissement Quebec, have all signaled their support for the conference. So we expect to have some big announcements on the horizon. To answer your question regarding a Tier 1 conference in Canada, a long time coming, it's an independently sponsored conference by the investment and mining community. Fantastic for deal flow, by the way. A fabulous location, Old Quebec City, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Doesn't get any nicer than that. We think that'll appeal to our worldwide global audience. One-on-one meetings in a dedicated private room, a la BMO or Denver, with an automated calendar system. For us, it'll be MeetMax, fresh style content for users, and great media partners. That's what makes a Tier 1 conference.
Well, you also need a decent roster of companies. So can you give us a little bit of insight as to who's going to be showing up?
I'm really happy about where we are right now. We've just signed on Equinox, for example. We've got more companies coming on every day. This is invitation only, so we're being a little more selective. We're not being snobbish by any shape or means, but we do have some rules. And our sponsors also have companies that they want to see highlighted, and we do have limited space. So we owe it to our investors that we have the best to offer. We have room for 56 presenting companies. We're more than halfway there, and there will be a focus on green energy metals, base as well as precious. We'll definitely represent all of the commodities, and we'll have some great panels as well.
So when I first started looking at this, my concern was that there are lots of conferences. They're all the same, not very good for investors, not really good for the companies, but obviously the conference organizers made a lot of money. You're going to see some competition. People will react to what you're doing. For instance, I noticed that PDAC have moved their conference to a couple of weeks before yours. I mean, how does that affect you?
Well, I'm not even really looking at any other lane except my own right now. I mean, you can imagine the amount of hours I'm spending with people on the phone and talking. But of course, I'm aware that there has been, quite a few conferences pop up. All I can say is there's a course for every horse. We have something that the others do not, and that is the sponsorship and engagement and support of the investment community. Again, we are Canada's first Tier 1 mining investment conference, and we will be focused on highlighting Canadian mining. This has been a long time coming. We've spoke about this before. Canada deserves its own Tier 1 investment conference, in line with other conferences such as the Denver Gold and the Precious Metals Summit. So we find it all very exciting, and the response has been great. As far as PDAC moving to June, we view that as a positive. We're already receiving overflow from the venue in terms of companies, keynotes, and some investors as well. So for people traveling to Canada, they can conveniently go from Toronto to Montreal, maybe for the Grand Prix, and then pop over to Quebec City, a couple hours away. Voila.
Very nice. You mentioned a few sponsors there, but these things are made possible by the sponsors. So have you got more sponsors to come?
Well, we have 14 sponsors confirmed, and we have a few more coming on board. Noble Capital just signed on last week, for example. We have a few more that have verbally committed, but until the ink is on the paper, I have to stay mum. But okay. Stay tuned.
Okay, will do. It's also about the investors. How's that coming along?
Great question. Glad you asked that. We have a curated list of over 1,700 investors that have, and the initial invites have been sent out. We're getting people signing up on MeetMax already, which is great. We're very proud of this list, by the way. It's a culmination of my 20 years plus experience in the business. So we're looking forward to hosting them in Quebec City. I would say they need to sign up quickly because those hotel rooms are going like hotcakes. Better sign up fast.
Okay, you better reserve a room for me as well.
You
Right,
got
so
one.
good, glad to hear it. Keynote speaker, institutional investors is one thing, but also retail investors. There's got to be something in it for them. You said you might be looking to do something. Any more clarity on that?
Yeah, so next month we will be sending out special invites to a curated list of over 700 qualified accredited retail investors to participate at the event in a unique way. That's all I can say for now.
Okay. Next steps. I'm sort of intrigued because there's not long to go. You're going to have
Mhm.
I'm sure there's lots of things on your list today. Any kind of big hurdles that you need to overcome between now and then?
Well, we're just waiting for a few more issuers, sponsors, and keynotes to come on board. And these are all confirmed, by the way. We're just waiting for their contracts and info so that we can include them. And then it's off to the races with our socials, news events, news releases, more, all of these announcements. My biggest challenge is when to pull the pin because we have so much coming on board and so many changes. It's hard to find the right time, but you will be seeing a flurry of news from us shortly. And Matt, on that note, I would personally really like to thank you too for supporting our event from the get go, from the very beginning when we began discussing it around a year ago. It's people like you that really gave me the courage to continue with this, and I really look forward to your participation at the event. See you in June.
You see me in June. It's always good to support good people doing things for the right reasons, and it's good for the industry too. So you're very welcome. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Take care.